Hello, Wellness Check Wednesdays community. We wanted to take a moment to remind you that while our podcast serves as a safe space for open discussions and sharing experiences, we are not mental health experts. This podcast is a platform for you to express your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a judgment-free zone. Our aim is to foster connection, provide support, and create a sense of community. It's crucial to acknowledge that we are not a substitute for professional mental health advice or treatment. If you or someone you know is dealing with mental health challenges, we strongly encourage seeking guidance from qualified professionals. Remember, reaching out to mental health experts can make a significant difference. If you ever feel the need, don't hesitate to connect with a licensed therapist, counselor, or healthcare professional.
This is the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, a share space, a judgment-free zone, a place to meet and discuss our mental health. So let's check in.
Well. We meet again on another beautiful and wonderful Wednesday, and I'm always especially thankful to be here on another episode of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. And I'm so excited that I didn't even change my background. I forgot which podcast that I'm on. So I'm going to press a button here, and I'm going to press this button right here. And you know what? Ta-da! Here we go.
There it is.
There it is. All right. Like we actually post a video anyway, but we do not post a video for privacy reasons for all of our listeners out there. For that very reason, if you want to join in, you can always join in. You don't have to come up on video. That is always an option as well. But I am rambling just a little bit, and we encourage all of our listeners, all those people out in the social media world, in the world that we live in, each and every Wednesday, each and every day, if you need it to always, let's check in. You should recognize my voice by now. And in the future, I might be cutting these introductions short because as we grow, you should know the originators, you should know the moderator, you should know the mainstays by now. But I do go by the name of Brian Livingston, and I do reside here in the wonderful city of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We're going to go on a mental health journey by way of Cleveland, Ohio, as I introduce one of the originators of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, my man, Edwin Vereen.
I'll tell you what, the weather's starting to get a little better, slowly but surely. But then again, I live in Northeast Ohio, and it is unpredictable. It's Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't complain.
Don't let the smooth talk fool you, because Mother Nature is unpredictable all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
The three things we can count on in life: death, taxes, and this heifer don't know what she want to do. All right. And we're going to travel by way of parts unknown in Oklahoma, introducing one of our mainstays here with the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, my man B3. Brad, how you doing today, sir?
Okay, man, doing okay. Just trying to get through this week. Little bit of a struggle, but I think I can make it through.
Understandably so. Life within itself is a struggle at times, but we make it through together as best as we can. Our other originator, Kevin Marshall, will eventually get a clock, and I'm going to stop making excuses for him for being late, but it's okay. It is what it is. Life does life, and things do come up. So I always wish him the very best. And if he does join us, it is what it is. We are embarking on episode 58 of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. Just released episode 57 last Wednesday, talking about relationships and social media. We're going to keep on the track with social media with a little twist. This week, we're going to talk about the family dynamic. And of course, all topics that we talk about, we do reflect on mental health. This week is the family dynamic and how it affects our mental health. And also, we're going to tie in how social media plays into that family dynamic. Um, One thing before I pass the mic over to Edwin as he opines a little bit further on the topic, when we speak of the family dynamic, first things first, family is a very loose term. A lot of people consider blood relatives the core of their family, and then their friends are their friends, and however family is how you define it. I consider my best friends my brothers. I have two best friends in the world. Everybody else, hey, you're very good friends of mine. I consider you some people my best friends that I've grown to know and love. But there are two in particular that I consider my brothers. Edwin is one of them, my man JR, that he's not here on the program, but he is considered a brother to me. I consider them part of my family dynamic. They are beyond friends to me because we've just gone through way too much. And I honestly could say gone through more than what I've gone through with my very own family, my blood, my flesh and blood, my brother, my actual brothers and sisters, because they be doing too much sometimes and they got their own lives. But but the family dynamic is what you define of it, who you consider close, who so when we speak of the family dynamic, just def- define it as you will, because there's really no true definition. Like, I mean, family is family, but it's really how you take of it. And so, as we reflect on that a little bit, I will pass the mic over to Edwin as he has a couple talking points, a couple bullet points when it comes to the family dynamic.
All right, so Be Live passes me the microphone, the baton, if you will. When it comes to family dynamic, we know how family can be, and we know how family can be. Now, you heard the tone of my voice, how I switched it up from the highs of highs to the lowest of lows. But family gone family, gone family, gone family. So with that being said, I really didn't. I don't want to say I didn't have the time to find an article, but I just want to find something quick, something for y'all easy to digest and everything, and just made sure y'all got what you needed. So I typed in the Google machine and Google did this thing via AI, and it gave me several things about family dynamics. Now, just to let y'all know, I did double check the links, so that way it's just factual information and not a bunch of BS being spewed. All right, so let's get into it. Family dynamics, encompassing how family members interact, communicate, and resolve conflicts significantly impact mental health, with positive interactions fostering well-being and negative ones potentially leading to distress or mental health problems. I'm going to go through a few real quick here, all right? So the positive of the family dynamics, support and affection. Supportive and loving family relationships provide a foundation for healthy development, and self esteem. Open communication. Open and honest communication creates a safe space for sharing feelings and concerns, fostering emotional security. Conflict resolution. Healthy conflict resolution skills within the family members help navigate disagreements constructively, reducing stress and fostering resilience. Nurturing relationships. Nurturing relationships where family members are emotionally available and responsive promote resilience and enhance an individual's ability to cope with stressors. All right, now we also have the negative side of it as well too. Alexa, hush. You figure she learned her lesson by now, but anyways, all right. The negative family dynamics, of course, like I said, every positive there's a negative. Conflict and instability. High levels of conflict, instability, and poor communication can create a stressful environment that negatively impacts mental health, particularly in children. Abuse and neglect. Exposure to abuse or neglect can lead to serious psychological distress, such as mental health problems, anxiety, including depression, and PTSD. Stigma and individualization. Families that stigmatize or invalidate mental health issues can hinder others from seeking help and worsen their mental health conditions. Lack of support. Lack of emotional, practical, or financial support can leave individuals feeling isolated and vulnerable, increasing their risk for mental health problems. And it says the impact on mental health, which includes anxiety and depression. Family dynamics can contribute to the development or exacerbation of anxiety and depression, particularly in individuals who experience conflict, instability, or lack of support. Substance abuse. Dysfunctional family dynamics can increase the risk of substance abuse as many individuals turn to substances to cope with the stress of or emotional pain. Relationship difficulties. Difficult family dynamics can impact an individual's ability to form or maintain healthy relationships in the future. Low self-esteem. Negative family interaction can negatively impact self-esteem and self-worth, leading to feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. And then it says, and like, if you're going through some mental health things, it mentions importance in family therapy. Family therapy can be an effective way to address family dynamics and improve mental health outcomes. Family support. Family support is crucial for individuals with mental health conditions, as it can help them navigate challenges and build resilience. Education and awareness. Educating families about mental health and mental health illness can help reduce stigma and promote understanding, leading to better support and outcomes. So, right there, fellas, is kind of sort of the quick, thick, and dirty of it all when it comes to family dynamics. Now, we all know that when it comes to mental health, some family members will talk about it, and some family members will ignore it, and some family members just take it straight up taboo. Um, the only people I've ever been open about my mental health is like my immediate family. My niece, my sister, um, my brother Michael, my nephew Lorenzo, and of course, B Live and JR as well too. Um, as far as like my other family members, I don't want to say they don't get it, but I feel the most comfortable talking to them about, the struggles I've been through, with my daddy passing away, which coming September will be 30 years. And not having that influential role model that stepped in, because I feel like, just as soon as my daddy passed away, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I just felt like my uncles they just jumped ship. They went the other way. I mean, if this gets to them, okay. If it doesn't get to them, okay. Because you know what? I still turned out good. Still turned out good. That's the truth, and that's how I feel. I mean, if that's not what it is, they have to tell me otherwise. I'm not gonna go looking for it. And so just with just being me and my mom, and that's why I was so close to her for all those years, because I just knew if the daddy passed away, it was me and her. It wasn't nobody else. Not looking for no uncles, no cousins, no brother, no sister. It was just me and mama until I finally moved out when I was in my early 20s. So I will say, my immediate family, they've been real supportive about my mental health endeavors, and they haven't looked at me as being crazy and deranged. And it's like, look, if you need therapy, then go ahead and get it, and if it's going to help you out, go ahead and get it. So, and then I think my niece, she talked about getting into it, and I think if you're black, you need it. Pretty plain and simple. If you're black and if you're in this country, you need therapy. As much as you think you don't need it, you need it. Because unfortunately, the way society was set up, we went through a lot of harshness, a lot of toughness, and so I strongly recommend anybody that's of the African American hue or the diaspora go out there and get it. But like I said, my immediate family has been supportive, and I'm so grateful to have them in my life every day. Be live. What say you?
Um, one thing before I really before I dive into a couple things, because the family dynamic has always been a deep seated and all like a deep rooted issue. And when I say issue, I don't necessarily mean a bad thing. I mean it's my family dynamic has never been of anything close to normal. Like I've always been real close with my immediate, and I mean more or less my parental and my parental units, my parents and my grandparents.
Mhm.
As far as my brother and sisters are concerned, because I there was such a age difference between my brothers and sisters, I wasn't necessarily that close to them as a child. as an adult, we grew a little bit closer, but by the time we're adults, my two sisters have an entire family of their own. My brother and myself, we do not have children of our own. We're just out here. We out here in these streets.
You screech.
And so, like, even to the point, like, there was, I mean, we've had our interactions, we've hung out, but I can count on both of my hands how many times me and my siblings have hung out together. I can count on both my hands, which you would think is weird
Mm.
being alive for 42 years. But it just wasn't a thing. Like by the time I was 7 years old, I was an only child. Everybody else is skedaddled.
Hmm.
They was grown. They had to go. And so I attribute some of the ways I am is due to that because I really like when it comes to that familial bond, I just really didn't necessarily have it with my siblings. I love them to death. And now like we have a group chat right now, which what brought us together was the unfortunate passing of my father. And even like I said, with my brothers and my sisters, there's five of us. None of us have the same parents except for like my brother and my sister through my dad's first marriage. So that's another a family dynamic within itself. Like we're just all over the place. I ain't saying my dad was Papa was a Rolling Stone and anything like that. It just so happened to be that way, you know.
Hmm.
And so I have a sister through my mom before she got married. I have a brother through my dad before he got married the first time and the second time. I just found out about a couple years ago. Like, all right, I have a let's see, put him do some math real quick. Ooh, he's turning. Did he turn 60? Yeah, he turned 60 this year. Yeah, my oldest brother that I did not know until a couple years ago turned 60 this year. So
Wow.
this is a whole Maury Povich show. Like what's really going on? You
Yeah.
like, so the family dynamic is definitely something completely different. Like when my grandfather passed away, he was close to me and my one sister on my mom's side.
Hmm.
That was my grandparents from my dad's side. They had passed away before I was born.
Hmm.
I never knew them. So that's another dynamic within itself. I could go. I could this could be a 4 hour um, episode if I let it be because there's a lot going on.
Hmm.
But I try to truncate it a little bit more or less because the way that I live life, the way I was raised, and the way that I operate now within life is just, and it's not necessarily a detachment. It's just really just how it was. Like
Hmm.
even with my parents, I grew up majority of the time spent at my grandparents' house until my parents got off of work. And then when my parents got off of work, I'd do my homework and I'd go to bed.
Hmm.
Repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. I get done with school, go to my grandparents, I eat dinner with my grandparents. And that was the majority of me growing up until I became a teenager. And then when I became a teenager, I had my own vehicle and I was gone. You
Out the
could I
house.
was I was where I was either at some drill meet with RTC. I was either at practice for drill team RTC. I was either at practice marching band, jazz band. I was doing something. Then I ran off to work, and then I came back home, did my homework, saw my parents for a little bit in my room, had my own phone line in my room for the little dial-up internet. I was so like self-sufficient for so long that
Hmm.
I like it's one of those things that even now I may seem as detached because I just really wasn't there wasn't that many the family reunions. My extended family is so large, I was attached from them because it took too long to find out who all was in my family between my mom's 13 brothers and sisters,
Oh boy.
dad's 12 brothers and sisters. Come on, bro. That is so when I say the family dynamic is a whole nother beast within itself, and that's why I say detachment is my real big thing from that.
Hmm.
Is that even now, like part of me you likes to be the face of the party and be around a whole bunch of people because I really wasn't around a whole bunch of people growing up. But now I also have this ability just to be, hey, I don't need a whole bunch of people around me.
Mhm.
Been doing this by myself for a long time. I'm very thankful for the relationships that I have developed within my adult life with my dad that's now passed away, my mom that we talk, we're talking more at least once a week. We try to talk and everything because it's important because she's all I got left besides my brother and sister. But
Yeah.
I got one parent left. That's it. This is it's it's a wrap after that, and I ain't trying to even think about that. Don't you dare go nowhere from me. But when we were discussing this topic, there's a lot of things I thought about. I was my like I'm thankful that I had a two-parent home.
Mhm.
I had a lot of love, a lot of support. I had the parents and the grandparents. And you know how it says it takes a village to raise a child. Oh, I had a village. I mean, I needed a village not to beat me up so much when I did wrong because I caught it from all corners. Great, dang,
They gave you one of these and one of
right?
those.
Yes, yeah. It kept me out of a lot of trouble, but it also I got in my own set of trouble myself. But that's not on them. That was on me. 'Cause-
Yeah.
But the family dynamic, once you like either grow accustomed to it or understand it a little bit more, it helps because I still think to this day, even as adults, as grown adults, as old adults, as with gray on the chin and born in the 1900s, kids these days, that the more that we understand about our own family dynamic, it defines us in a way.
Mhm.
It is who we are, regardless of how good or how bad how different our family was. It remains a part of us. I'm a little bit detached, but I'm still like somewhat close to my family. I do talk to my family. I know people that are completely detached. I've seen and heard and spoken to people that have had abuse from growing up, so they're completely.
Mhm.
I've seen and heard some horrible stories. I'm just like, how can people be like that? Especially to someone that they're related to, especially a parent to a child, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, I didn't talk way too much because it's three of us on the show. You know, we're gonna need allow my man Brad to chime in on this, the family dynamic, what it means to him. Sir, yes, please talk to us.
Sure.
And why you had to be
Um,
loud? Why you had to be loud? Catch your breath too. Go ahead, Brad.
yeah, yeah. So I guess I can say with the family dynamic, I was relatively close to my family, but fortunately, with time and circumstances, all of them are no longer with us anymore. So
Mhm.
they're like just the remaining members I have are, like, aunts, my first cousins, second cousins, so on, right? So our family's not a relatively big family. And, just over the years, like, it's like the only time we ever see each other is at funerals. Like, that's really it.
Ugh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, it's really like, especially with that part of my mom's side of the family,
Mhm.
dad's side of the family, without going too in depth, I'll just say I haven't really been close to that side of the family since I was young, for circumstances and reasons, mostly caused by my father. Um, that I just never got close to that side anymore, and just having just seeing different family members, just finding out about additional ones. That has happened over the years. I'm like, oh wait, I have another sibling
Ugh.
who didn't tell me about this. So, it and it kind of bummed me out, like a bit in my 20s and some of my 30s. I was like, wait, I have a whole other side of my family that I don't talk to. And I have a whole other side of my family that I still talk to. I mean, we lived in close proximity. We can still go hang out. I can call any of my cousins and be like, hey, what are you all doing on such and such? Nothing. Y'all want to kick it? Yeah. And then they'll be down immediately.
Mm.
just because that's the kind of relationship that my cousins and I have. And even my aunt, I can be like, hey, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. I kind of have to plan it just because I live elsewhere, in parts unknown, and she'll be down to hang out too. Just like at any given point, just as I'm the one that moved away because of work.
Mm.
So just dealing with my family dynamic. I mean, we do have a strong bond, even though it's a small family. Just finding out different things that I look to ensure that that bond doesn't get broken. Judge it just because sometimes for some family it's all you have.
Mm.
I even have friends, like a couple friends that I consider brothers, just because even though I am technically the older brother, I was never close to my like half siblings.
Mhm.
Never really close to them, but those guys, those guys are older than me. So I'm like, okay, by a few like 5, 6 years, I think. So I can like, consider them brothers just because that's how our dynamic is. That's how we are, and that's how our relationship is. So, yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here.
Yeah, that's kind of like with me, like I think, Brad, I think we're kind of in the same boat when it comes to I know just about everything there is about my mom's side of the family. At 42, there's bits and pieces of my dad's family that remains a mystery. And so man, yeah, you might have two other brothers and sisters out there. And I was like, oh, okay. Usually I'd be
Oh,
excited, but I'm like, all right. I mean, I'll see him when I see him, I guess. I'm like, it'd be nice to see him. If they're out there,
yeah.
they'd be. I'm just not. How can I say this? Like like you said, be like there are people that are connected deeply with their family, and there are some people that's all the way just disconnected. And when I think we all can agree, when we move away, things seem to change. Be Live, you've moved away. I've moved away several times. Brad, you moved from home, from your home. Moved around several times, and it's definitely different. I will say it's definitely different than just coming back to see things like, oh, you okay? It's kind of like sometimes you say it's like, damn, I'm glad I left this, or damn, I really missed this. And sometimes, like when I go back home, I'm in the middle of like I kind of miss it, but do I miss enough to move back home? Probably not. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like, you just and along the way, you meet people and they become family. And it's like you have your own family. I mean, the family that you're born into, you can't choose that, but your family after the fact, you have a say so in it. You develop a closeness in a relationship with them. It's like, okay, well, we like family and we feel more, sometimes and we all can agree, sometimes you have friends that feel more like family than your actual family does.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So like I said,
Yeah.
earlier about my, about not having, no positive male role models, feeling my dad's, my dad's footsteps. I mean, somebody told my mom, said, "Man, once you get a boyfriend," my mom said, "Let me tell you something. There'll never be another man." My mama said this. She said, "Son, Terry, now there'll never be another man like your daddy." I left it alone.
Dang.
When she
Yep.
said when she said that, I left it alone because I wanted my mom to be happy. I didn't want her to sit there and just be sitting there. But man, when she told me that, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Can't really force the issue there.
Nah,
Man.
My mama
Yeah.
looked me dead in my face. She said, "Son, I understand what you're trying to do." She said, "I'm gonna tell you something. There'll never be another man like your daddy." Word.
And that's a testament within itself. And Eddie, I could say this with all certainty.
Mhm.
Your mom did a hell of a job.
She tried.
She, you not only are you a stand-up gentleman, you've always been a best friend and a brother to me.
Mm.
And when it comes to people I trust, they I got a couple of hands, and that you and you'd be one of the first people I call, and we are how many hours away? 12, 13. I'd call you before I call some people that are 15 minutes away, just
Exactly.
because I know for a fact. But and then on top of that, like I even just thought about something else. I'm closer to my mom's immediate side of the family, like me, my mom, my sister on my mom's side, than I am my dad's immediate, like my two brothers, my sister, or my dad. But I'm closer to my dad's extended family by proximity because my dad's family is Poplar.
They right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Livingston, Hemingway, Vereen,
Oh,
me and Eddie. Here's the thing, Brad. Just to throw this out here,
Mhm.
me and Eddie aren't related at all, but we have a mutual cousin. Lorenzo out there in the world. Lorenzo's my second cousin on my dad's side. Lorenzo is what he's your first cousin on your mom's side.
he's my nephew.
No, he's your nephew. That's right. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's all good.
He's your brother's son,
Mhm.
Okay.
and he is my uncle's daughter's son.
Yep.
Like that's so it's crazy. Like he's my second, but that's how intertwined like our family dynamic is. Where me and Eddie aren't related at all, but we share family members. You know,
We're not related, but we share family members. Like you said, Lorenzo, his cousin, and Lorenzo's my nephew. Like, don't that make y'all related? I'm like, no, not necessarily.
not at
No.
all. No.
Eh.
Uh-uh.
Is it by blood or by marriage?
It's by blood, like Ed's brother
Mm-hmm.
and my uncle's daughter had Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not related. We just there it is, but not by marriage, just by a child. They had a child. One of his family members, one of my family members. Ba-da, boom, ta-da.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
There it is, right there.
I think that's the best way to close out the family dynamic. Oh, and there goes,
Yep.
and there goes Zoom is trying to tell me something. But each and every Wednesday,
He's out of breath.
each and every week, always and forever, let's check in. The Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, episode 58. Be out to you.
Hold on, and before we run off real quick, today is February the 26th, and by the time this episode drops, my mother's birthday is the next day, February 27th. So happy heavenly belated birthday, Mama. I love you and I miss you.
Love you, Mom. Love you.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. Please join us every week, Wednesdays on Zoom at 6 p.m., and join our Facebook group for updates and to participate. We care about your mental health, so let's check in.